Maggie with another Soul Food Sunday. And as I mentioned last month, we focused on different women of the Bible. And I said that in June, in honor of Father's Day, we would do the same, but with male characters. But again, ladies, don't turn off and say this doesn't apply because really the principles apply. We're just looking at different characters. So I was trying to find some that maybe we wouldn't necessarily focus in on. And so today I want to talk about Caleb. Now we're familiar with the story of Joshua and Caleb going into the promised land to spy it out, to see what they were up against. And Moses sent 12 spies. Now, Joshua and Caleb came back with raving reviews and said, oh, the land is amazing. They brought back huge fruit that looked wonderful. They said, the land is great. Yes, they're giants, but we can conquer them with God's help. The other 10 spies said, oh no, yes, the land was great, but the giants. And isn't it interesting how we can focus on one thing or the other? Some people focus on, the giants, not necessarily physical giants, but the giants, the hard things. While other people say, yeah, there's some challenges, but look at the amazing things on the other side of that. And so that's what Joshua and Caleb did. And so God was angry at his chosen people because he was going to take them in to the promised land. And so what happened is all of the men 20 years and older died during that next 40 years that they wandered in the wilderness. And now they have come into the promised land. 40 years have passed, and another 5 where they're conquering the land. And it's interesting because back at the time they initially were going into the promise, or the spies were sent into the promised land, Caleb was 40 years old. He is now 85 years old. And that's why I titled this, You're Never Too Old. And I just want to read a couple of the things because this speaks so much to me, and it should to all of us. Because again, he's saying 40 years ago, I was one of those spies, and I could see all the amazing things that God could do in the land. But we weren't able to go in. But he could have easily been bitter. All these 40 years, wow, they should have listened to me. I knew I was right. And sometimes if we're not careful, we can do that. We're working on a project or on a committee. Maybe it's at church, maybe it's at work. And they don't take our word. They don't take our advice. And we go through life. See, they should have listened to me. But there's no sign that Caleb is bitter at all. But listen to what he says. He talks about how God has blessed him those 45 years. Yes, he's walked through the wilderness. I'm sure there was lots of grumbling, but not him. He walked through the wilderness those 40 years, and then 5 years of conquering. But he says, here I am this day, 85 years old. As yet, I am as strong, and this is the part I love, I am as strong as the day that Moses sent me in. And he goes on to say that just as my strength was then, so now is my strength for war, both for going out and coming in. And I love his mindset. Sometimes as we age, it's easy to say, I don't need to be involved. I've done my share. I've worked. So now I'm just going to kick back and do nothing. And the amazing thing, this is the amazing part. Joshua is doling out the inheritance. He's giving out the parcels of land to the different tribes, to the different people. They're getting their reward. This is their, retirement as such. They're getting that. Okay, this is your land. And Caleb could have easily said, I'm 85 years old. Give me this nice little parcel of land that's flat, that's already developed. But he does something absolutely amazing. He says, I want this mountain. Because again, he's just told us he's just as strong as he was before. He says, I want this mountain where the Anakim live. Now, the Anakim were the giants. Those were the very giants that 45 years earlier, all of them had seen those giants, but the 10 spies said, oh, they're too big. And now, Caleb, at 85 years old, is saying, give me the land where they live. There's no fear there. And I think what this says to all of us is God still has work for us to do. And we can easily say, I've done mine. I've served in all these different capacities. We can add whatever, all of the things we've done. But God is saying there's still more. And until we take that last breath, there is still more that we can be doing. Whether you have infirmities, maybe, you're in a wheelchair, maybe, you have different health issues. There are things that you can do. I remember a woman in my church, Carolyn Hills, and even when she wasn't able to physically come for years, she wrote cards out. She did, all those little extra things. She couldn't do a lot of things physically, but this was something that she could do. I know right now there are people that send cards of encouragement that are doing those things. And so I just want to encourage with these words, you are never too old. We are never too old. So what is there that you can be doing? What is that dream that you have that maybe you've sort of put on the back burner, maybe you've even forgotten about? But all of a sudden, just now, the Lord has brought things to mind. Is it time for you to take that and conquer it? Maybe it's just to learn a new hobby so that you can share it with other people. So I'd love to know your thoughts, and go back. This is in Joshua 15. And that's another thing. In the beginning, Joshua and Caleb were sent out. But there's a whole book called the book Joshua. And so he tends to get a lot more attention. We know of Joshua, things that he said, things that he did. And yet, really, we don't hear much about Caleb at all until this point. Sometimes we go through life and we feel like we're in the shadows of other people. But there will come a day where you will be recognized for all the things that you have done. So don't give in to feeling like you're second fiddle. Don't give in to feelings of despair because you didn't get the recognition for the things that you did. God sees, and he is going to reward you. So have an amazing week. Come back tomorrow morning for my 5-minute Monday mindset. As always, take care and God bless.